What's up guys? Today we're gonna be working on a truck, specifically the leaf springs. I got some extra springs over there that we're gonna throw in, but first I'm gonna have to take off my ladders because it's kind of drizzling out right now and we're trying to work in the garage, and sometimes it hits the rafters. That one right there. So I'm putting in some Chevy leaves for a little more height. I already put in like I think 2. I believe this one and this one are Chevy leaves, but I have one more left over there. And I noticed that when my truck is like packed with tools and material, the sag is like kind of like that. So adding an extra leaf would kind of help the truck have less sag, and it'll make the spring pack a little stiffer, so the ride quality might not be as great. But I'm looking more for, I guess, you know, for it to handle extra load in the bed for like work and stuff. So yeah, let's get to it. So I got the truck in the garage. So once we jack the rear end up, my racks shouldn't be hitting the rafters. That gives us some room to jack the back up, because we're kind of gonna have to jack it a little high, my truck. And I also didn't wanna put a bigger block because I don't know, I'd rather have kind of good arched leaf springs. But new leaves are like super pricey nowadays, which is why we're doing this. But I'll eventually change out these leaves to better ones later on though. But yeah, I see a lot of guys that are like super high with big blocks and flat leaves. And if that's you, maybe you can do this. But yeah, I'm not trying to be like that. Also, because once there's like a lot of load in the bed, your leaves will start to frown and go backwards. So here's the last of the Chevy leaf that I have. These are the main leaves. So we're pretty much gonna cut off the ends, because the other 2 leaves that were in these leaf packs were, I believe, these 2 right here, 1 and 2. And I did this probably like about a year ago, but I just didn't vlog it. So I'm gonna vlog this part today. And these are the Tacoma leaves I took off and replaced it with the 2 Chevy leaves. But pretty much you can use any leaf. A friend of mine's used Nissan Titan leaves. Leaves off of Nissan Titan. As long as the leaf's supposed to fit in between your U-bolts over there. No, 2.5 inch wide leaf springs will work. And it's pretty much the same thing. Well, they're actually 2 3/8, but it'll still fit inside here. We're gonna jack up the truck and take everything apart. But before we jack it up, let's get a measurement. So right now, the passenger rear is from the tire, top of the tire to the fender, it's pretty much 17 inches, or a little under 17 inches. And the driver side is a little over 16. Yeah, my driveway, or my garage, is not leveled. You can tell it's a little like this, which is why the measurements are off. But it's pretty much 17 and 16. So that's for reference to see how much up it goes. And let's get to it. So we got all of our U-bolts and our shocks disconnected on both sides. And now we're putting jack stands underneath the axle, and we're gonna drop the axle. So here it is. It's pretty much at full droop, with the springs floating, not connected to anything but the eye bolt mounts, and we're pretty much ready to work on it. I also have these overload leaves from the Chevy leaf pack that I got, which I'll be replacing with the stock Tacoma overload leaf. And I'm also gonna be putting these leaves on and cutting it like shorter, like right here maybe, because I don't really see the purpose of having this long of an overload with the add leaf, and also it kind of passing the tire, just in case, like if you're backing up into something or a big rock. This will be in the way of the tire climbing over the rock, if that kind of makes sense to you guys. So first off, I am going to mark where I'm gonna cut. So for this part, I'm gonna cut it right here. It's like 7 inches. So I'll probably go the same with the other side. Also, you'll notice that for the Toyota leaves, the center pin that holds the leaves all together is more closer towards the front side. So if you grab your measuring tape, from the eye bolt to the center pin is about 23 2/8, and the back from the center bolt to the pin is about 30 4/8. So that's like 7 inches difference. The actual center from eye to eye would be like around here. And on the Chevy leaf springs, the center bolt or the center hole is literally right in the center. And the placement of this guy, if I'm holding it right at the center using the same hole, is gonna be super close to the third leaf from the top. So I'm gonna put it like right there and just pretty much cut off the eye bolt part. And also gotta calculate where to cut for this guy. This is also the leaf spring that I took off from the stock Tacoma leaf pack. So it's pretty much at this length right now. And I would put it back like to end up over here, but looking on the other side, that's like after the third spring, it's pretty much in line with the fourth spring from the top. So I'm gonna put it pretty much underneath the fourth spring, which ends up like right here. So I'm gonna put it maybe like over here. Cut it right there. Mark the other side. So at least this spring will distribute the overload like kind of a little bit more higher. So we'll pretty much have our marks of where to cut. This is gonna be facing the front of the truck, and this too. And this side, this one is pretty much even both sides. And whatever cuts I make, like you guys notice how this is a straight cut and this is a straight cut. I think I'm gonna do a diamond cut, which is pretty much like this. It kind of has an angle to the end, just because I was doing research and they said that it kind of helps with a little bit more smoother ride. So yeah, so you pretty much want to square off your cuts using a square, or square off your marks so you have a square and straight cut. Here's the not really finished product, but the final cut of it and how it look. So the only thing about if you do this to your leaf springs, or like any leaf springs, you'll notice that they don't have the isolator pads anymore, which are the nylon or whatever material pad at the end. Those pads are used for like to stop squeaking. If you don't have those pads, then it can cause squeaking, or it will. Squeaking, creaking, any kind of noises. And I kind of don't want to drill into this, or else it'll kind of compromise with the strength of the springs. So I'm gonna buy isolator pads or leaf spring lining and put it at the end. But that can be later on though, because we're gonna put this thing back together today. So that will be for another video. So if you're watching this video, subscribe to see that video. But yeah, that's pretty much the concept of what we have to do to all of the other springs. And we'll get right back to you guys later. So we pretty much got our leaf springs cut to size and diamond cut. And now we're gonna be taking apart these existing leaf springs. Pretty much gonna put the diamond cut on the edges of these guys. Gotta figure out something about this one though. And the other side. The top two I'm pretty much gonna leave alone. I know the edge of the second leaf is the straight cut, but I don't really want to touch that because I want it to have as much contact as possible, just in case, you know, for extra strength for this guy. And the front wraps all the way up, so I'm gonna leave that alone as well. And then the third leaf I'm gonna cut a little shorter, just because now this leaf is gonna be the third leaf, and this leaf is gonna come up all the way over here. And my other leaf, I'm just gonna leave that alone as well. So yeah, first thing we're gonna do is clamp the leaves. Base grip, the center bolt on the bottom. And now I can slowly release our clamps, and everything is pretty much just gonna fall out, so be careful. You guys can see the difference in the leaves. So the first top two is pretty much my original main leaves, which look pretty flat or has less of an arc compared to the next two leaves, which are the Chevy leaves that I previously put in. And then there's this overload leaf. I forgot to mention that if you're gonna be doing this, like adding leaves and stuff, or pretty much reconstructing your leaf pack, you're gonna need new center bolts. There's an alternative to doing so, which is pretty much what I did before, using a 3/8 bolt by like however long you can find, because you're gonna need them long for your installation, and then you're gonna have to chop it at the end. But I do recommend getting the actual center bolts rather than doing it this way. But if you do it this way, make sure you get 3/8 by however long, and the thread pitch is pretty much gonna be -24, which means there's 24 threads every inch. The other common size is 3/8-16, but the 16 means there's only 16 threads per inch, which means the threads are more further apart. You want the threads kind of super fine, because I've used the 3/8-16 in the past and it ended up pretty much just stripping the threads, and the nut pretty much just kind of busted its way through and came off. So you'd want a bolt that has fine threads. So this is pretty much all the leaves put together besides the main leaf. I'm putting in the center bolt first, and then I'm gonna have to clamp it a little bit and then throw everything up one time. Gotta clamp this guy because the original leaf is like flat compared to the other leaves. So I got it sort of together, and now I'm ready to put him on. So I pretty much use the clamps to hold this leaf pack up to get it into the main leaf, and I use the other nut to hold up this whole leaf pack. So now we're gonna try get it as close as we can, and reposition the clamps towards the middle to pretty much hold up all of the leaves that aren't being held by the clamp right now, because we're gonna end up holding everything together pretty tight and removing this whole center bolt to remove this nut right here. I would also like to add some leaf spring clamps just to have this gap kind of not there, pretty much to clamp the leaves together for like a tighter bond. I'll place one like right here, and the other probably like right here, but that's pretty much for another time. I also might have to change my shackle bushings, and that's gonna be another time as well, so be sure to subscribe for that. But yeah, passenger side is pretty much done. Just gotta tighten down this nut and chop off the excess thread so we could put back our bump stop. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Looks pretty legit. Ew. So you can see the difference. This leaf pack looks more thicker and more sturdy, and that leaf pack is what I was running before. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up whatever on this side and then get to that side, and after that put the truck back together and then grab our measurements and see how much inches we gained. So check back in with you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so truck is finally back together, and this is how they look. Looks pretty good. So I did notice that the truck came a little higher in the back. Sorry, my face is a little dirty right now, but forget, I think before it was like over here. I feel like moment of truth, baby. So I think this side was like a little under 17. Oh, now it's like 18.5. So that means it went up maybe about 1.5 1.75 inches, or as you would say, 1 6/8 inches. Not bad. And the driver's side is like at 18 flat, and I think this side, if I remember correctly, was like 16, little over or little under 16, or little over 16, I think. So this side went up like 2 inches. Yeah. So it did what we wanted it to do. That pretty much took like a whole day. I've been slowly cleaning up all the metal shavings, all the excess metal we cut off. But yeah, so here's another view, sort of a little over the 33s, gapping the 33s. So once we switch over to 35s, it'll probably be leveled out. And the front is probably a little, pretty much almost leveled with the 33s. So I've got an appointment tomorrow with Ace Alignment to reassemble my coilovers, and we're probably going to be working on that this weekend, and hopefully everything levels out perfectly. It looks pretty good though. Alright guys, I'm gonna finish up cleaning up and I'm gonna call it a night. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. Hope this video helps you guys. If you guys are trying to do this is pretty much like a budget way to do the All Pro or Trail Gear leaf springs. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Peace.